already been a climate change going on in this world. And throughout the years, there has already been climate changes that is happening throughout times in the years, and things have been getting worse. But the Lord began to speak to me and tell me that things are going to be getting worse when it comes to climate change and the climate and how the weather is now. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be far much worse. Things that's going to be changing in this weather is going to be like nothing that nobody never seen before. God wants us to pray, watch. He wants us to watch and pray, watch and pray, watch and pray as these things begin to change and shift in this earth. He wants us to begin to go and follow Him and let Him lead us and guide us so that when these things begin to happen, we're not being steered in the wrong direction, but the Lord will begin to lead us and show us the way that we need to go and to watch and pray as things in this earth begin to shift and change.
The climate scientists I've been talking to say that we should expect more extremes in 2024. You think of some of the things that we saw this past year when you talk about these record heat waves. You look at those wildfires in Canada that sent these plumes of black smoke into U.S. cities, record rainfall and flooding. They say these are things we are going to see more of. These are not one-off events that are happening. And in fact, when you talk about the record heat of 2023, the hottest year on record, 2024 expected to be even hotter than that.
In just 24 hours, the temperature dropped from 6 degrees Celsius to minus 30 degrees Celsius in Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region in China. Wind gusts reached 150 kilometers per hour.
We are officially out of the La Nina phase, and here's the forecast for global temperatures next year as we go into a El Nino. Prepare for some of the warmest global temperatures humans have ever seen. As you can see, the Arctic, the northern hemisphere, is going to be cooked. During El Nino years, trade winds from the west stall, and all that heat builds up in the Pacific, and it kind of just sits there, right? But in a La Nina phase, the winds are typically faster and they spread that heat across the world. But an El Nino has a global effect because the oceans store the heat. Without that wind blowing the warm air away, that warm, hot air is going to be released from the oceans. So if there's an El Nino next year, which is a 60% chance right now, global temperatures are going to be super high globally. So with global temperatures rising and El Nino kicking in, you can expect next year, next summer, to be the warmest year we've ever experienced as human beings.
Neil deGrasse Tyson once said that climate change won't make the earth uninhabitable. It'll just make it a living hell. I'm always paying attention to things that are going to be the most damaging to marginalized communities, and climate change is at the top of that list. Now in 2023, America leapfrogged Qatar and Australia to become the #1 export in the world of liquid natural gas, producing 91 million metric tons. Now, that's thanks in large part to these liquid natural gas export terminals near the Gulf of Mexico. Now, at these export terminals, natural gas is liquefied and shipped out to other countries. But in the process, large amounts of methane and CO2 are let out into the environment. Now, natural gas produces less carbon dioxide than other fossil fuels, but methane is 100 times more potent at trapping heat than carbon dioxide is. And that trapping of heat in the environment is what makes things like the polar ice caps melt. If the polar ice caps were to melt completely, the water level in New York City would rise so high that the Statue of Liberty would be underwater up to its left elbow. It's what makes things like the global temperature rise when we get 120-degree summer days in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, in January, Biden put a pause on future construction of these export facilities. A lot of these export facilities impact the marginalized communities that exist around them. Now, it's an election year. You're going to see climate change unfortunately politicized when it doesn't need to be. You're going to see people harping about money and jobs and exports and international relations and allies. But what good does any of that matter if no one's here to see?
Are you recording this? What's going on? All the lights of traffic lights is out too. Oh my god. Yo. Yo, that's whoa. What? You only want what?
This is why humanity is under threat of total extinction.
The next graph shows that over the past 30 years, the rate of ocean warming has increased by 450%. The additional heat generated as a result of this accelerated warming is equivalent to the energy that would be released if 10 nuclear bombs were detonated in the ocean every minute. Just imagine the immense amount of energy involved. Before you is a graph showing the rapid increase in the temperature of the North Atlantic Ocean. A particularly sharp spike in 2023 indicates that the amount of thermal energy escaping from the depths has increased significantly. On this graph, the horizontal axis represents months and the vertical axis represents temperatures. The graph contains multiple lines, each representing the ocean temperature for a specific year. The yellow line represents the temperature for 2016, the red line for 2023, and the black line represents the average temperature over the entire observation period. The red line for 2023 is significantly higher than all the other lines. This indicates that the ocean temperature in 2023 is much higher than all previous years, which is unprecedented. Look at the temperature graph for the Gulf of Mexico, which significantly impacts the climate in the United States. In August 2023, the temperature simply shot up compared to previous years. What consequences does ocean warming bring to us? It's important to understand that the ocean is the kitchen of weather, and an overheated ocean triggers the growth of natural disasters. This is why we will see even more catastrophes both in the United States and around the world. Intense precipitation. These precipitations then fall as extreme downpours in a matter of minutes, leading to sudden floods and landslides. Ocean warming fuels hurricanes and storms, provokes heat waves, and leads to the growth of tornadoes and hailstorms. In this way, we see that due to ocean heating caused by the rise of magma, more and more cataclysms are occurring.
2024 in Bible prophecy. 4 things to watch out for. The focus on Israel and Jerusalem. A central role for Israel and Jerusalem in end-time events will play out. Geopolitical developments, conflicts in the Middle East, and international relations with Israel are signs the time is near. Increased global unrest. Some interpretations of biblical prophecies, particularly those found in passages like Matthew 24 and Revelation, suggest that there will be an increase in global unrest and upheaval. Many point to wars, rumors of wars, and societal turbulence as signs of the end times. Technological advancements and surveillance. Certain interpretations of biblical passages, especially those related to the mark of the beast in Revelation 13, connect advancements in technology and global surveillance to end-time scenarios. Discussions about the integration of technology into various aspects of life may be viewed through as a sign. Environmental concerns and natural disasters. Environmental concerns and natural disasters are an indicative sign of the end times. Passages in the Bible, such as Matthew 24:7, 8, mention earthquakes, famines, and pestilences as signs of the last days.
Years, our lives could turn into a nightmare. Only 5 years. Instead of living a beautiful and prosperous America, we might be living in a sheer hell if we can't even survive such catastrophes. Look at the exponential extensions of the graph of earthquakes with a magnitude greater than 3. See how the number of earthquakes has increased. The increase in their number suggests that their magnitude will also increase. This means that the number of strong earthquakes with magnitude higher than 6 also grows. In just 5 years, earthquakes like the ones we saw in Turkey this year will happen practically every day in different parts of the planet. How many cities do you think will survive? the more earthquakes occur, the more energy is released, and the tectonic plates we live on become more unstable. Consequently, earthquakes will occur more frequently and their intensity will only grow. In that case, we will realize that by that time, the conditions on Earth will be entirely incompatible with human life. Americans, you are intelligent people. Here are your conclusions. As you take in all this information, we know the question arising in your mind. I'll anticipate it by saying that you'll get the answer at the end of our conference. Wait for it, and you'll understand that it was worth it. Now, I would like to ask those present here, what do you know about the extent of destruction that hurricanes can cause? And we're all here to tell you the real situation with the climate so that you can understand once and for all that the situation humanity is in right now has never occurred in the planet's entire history.
The latest predictions from The Simpsons for 2024 are genuinely eerie. This one is absolutely disturbing. In season 24, episode 9, Homer Simpson is preparing a bunker fully stocked with provisions for his family, anticipating something dreadful on the horizon. Shortly after, a solar superstorm strikes Springfield, a silent, invisible tempest sweeping through the town, causing severe consequences. This catastrophic event leads to a complete shutdown. No internet, no electricity, everything comes to a standstill. A solar superstorm could wipe out the internet for weeks or even months or even forever. The portrayal of a solar superstorm in the episode aligns with the potential real-world impact such an event could have. Interestingly, NASA has recently made a shocking discovery, a massive hole in the sun called the Coronal Hole. This hole, large enough to engulf 60 Earth-sized planets, is currently releasing solar storms at a staggering speed of 1.8 million miles per hour and could be headed to Earth fast. The last time the Earth experienced such a storm was in 1859. It was known as the Carrington event. The 2024 solar storm is predicted to be 60 times more powerful than the 1859 solar storm, possibly the strongest ever recorded in history. Such solar storms can have catastrophic effects on Earth, affecting satellite power grids, GPS, and potentially wiping out hard drives and the entire internet permanently. Might take decades for us to recover. It's only a matter of time.
Investigation reveals that Mark Zuckerberg is creating a massive underground bunker worth $100 million in Hawaii. This is something that needs to be talked about, especially after Leave the World Behind came out, and the features on this house or underground bunker is absolutely wild. So years ago, he bought a massive plot of land that could fit 500 football fields worth $170 million. The land plus the construction makes it the largest private project ever. Property is covered by security guards and large walls, so no one can see what's being built, and all the workers are signed to an NDA, which is almost unheard of. Now let's get to the features. It will have 12 buildings and 30 bedrooms and bathrooms with 2 mansions that are connected by an underground tunnel that branches into an underground bunker. It's going to have its own energy, food, and water supply, a living space, a mechanical room, and an escape hatch that can be reached by a ladder. It'll be soundproof, they'll have blind doors that are operated by keypads, and it'll be made with metal filled with concrete, which basically makes it indestructible. The real question is, does Zuckerberg and all these other billionaires making bunkers know that something is coming, or are they just preparing for the worst?
What he building a $270 million bunker? What do you know that we don't know, Kat?
Kim Jong-un? What? I don't know what you don't know. Do you understand that people that are not very bright are in charge of nuclear bombs all across the country? Mm-hmm. That's what he knows. He knows that 30% of all weapons systems are running off regular Wi-Fi. So what does that mean? That means if a solar flare or a meteor hits either one of those, literally a bomb can go off just because the system accidentally got turned off. Yeah, that's what he knows. The people that are in power know that the people that are running the most complicated and deadliest things on the planet are just an average idiot. And you know lots of idiots.
I do.
Yep. And these people are not special. Back in the day they were.
Yeah.
Not today. Not today.
2024 is going to be very chaotic. It's going to be weird. There's some weird movies coming out. How many guys saw the recent movie, Leave the World Behind? Anybody saw that movie there? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know all these. Am I watching a movie or is this a documentary, realistic thing? And then I'm seeing Mark Zuckerberg just spent $100 million building a house in Hawaii with a nuclear bunker. What does he know that the rest of the world doesn't know about? Talk about the timing. Oh, accidentally, coincidentally, a week after that movie comes out, a new movie comes out. What's the name of that movie? Civil War. Leave the world behind. Our power grid in America hasn't been updated. 75% of it hasn't been updated in 50 years. And you're kind of talking about that. Then you're pitting whites against blacks. There's a line in the movie that says, Dad, you know if something goes down, we can't trust these white people. I know that's something both you and Mom agree on. Why do you put that line in the movie, Barack? And you were helping with the script. Why would you put that in the movie? Why would you put that in the movie? Barack, weren't you the same guy that gave a talk at the DNC in 2004 about bringing people together? What happened to that guy?